My annual salary is 8 million, and my cousin suddenly asked me about my monthly income in the family group. I typed a line casually. With a monthly salary of 4,500, I can barely survive in Beijing. After sending it, I put down my phone and continued to stare at the project contract in front of me. Insure Technology, Series C financing, valued at 3.2 billion. As co-founder and vice president of technology, the options in my name are already worth more than 100 million. But I never mention these things to anyone in my family, because in the previous life, I've suffered from this. In my previous life, I had just received my first year-end bonus, and I happily called my mother to tell her. My mother turned around and told her aunt, who told her cousin Zhou Min, and my cousin told the whole village. Within 3 months, my uncle came, my aunt came, my cousin's family came, and my uncle's cousins all came. Those who borrow money, those who are looking for jobs, those who live in my house and never leave. It took me 5 years and all my savings. In the end, my ex-boyfriend and cousin teamed up to transfer the company's equity. On the day I jumped from the 23rd floor, my cousin was wearing the mink I bought and showing off Sonya on WeChat. Then I woke up. Back when I was 28, everything hadn't even begun yet. In this life, I will not make the same mistake again. The phone screen lights up. Auntie's voice message lasted 60 seconds. Nian Nian, your cousin said you earn more than 4,000 in Beijing? That's too little. You can't spend much money on your own, right? Your cousin Zhou Yang has just resigned from the factory, and his wife has nothing to do. Do you think you can let them go to Beijing to make a living? They can live with you and save on rent. I didn't reply. After listening to the voice, exit the group chat. 2 minutes later, my mother called. Su Nian, your aunt just called me and said that Zhou Yang and his wife will leave tomorrow, taking their children with them, and your aunt will also come with them. My mother's voice was filled with anxiety. Hurry up and think of a solution. The last time your cousin came to Beijing, he stayed at your grandma's house for half a year and didn't leave. Mom. I interrupted her. I see. What do you know? Just say something. They have already bought train tickets to Beijing South Railway Station tomorrow afternoon. I leaned back in my chair and looked out the window at the night view of the CBD. In my previous life, I answered this call, hurriedly cleaned up the room, gave up the master bedroom to my aunt, and slept in the living room. My cousin and his wife lived here for 8 months, eating and drinking for me. When they left, they even borrowed 60,000 yuan from me, which I haven't paid back yet. This life? Let them come, I said. I said, let them come. My mother was silent for several seconds. Nian Nian, you don't have a fever, do you? No. Mom, come too. What should I do? Come to see how your daughter is doing. After hanging up the phone, I opened the shopping app and placed an order for a new guest sofa. Bring it on. I won't run this time. When I walked into the office carrying coffee, my partner Lu Yan was sitting at my desk flipping through documents. The investors are very satisfied with your plan last night. We will sign the contract next week. He handed me the contract. I took it and didn't turn it over. Lu Yan, I'm taking 2 days off. He looked up at me. You never take time off. There's someone at home. He signed the approval without asking any more questions. Before leaving, I stood in the company's underground garage for a while. My car was parked on the B2 floor, a black Range Rover with a landing price of more than 1.3 million. But I can't open this today. I walked to the street, opened the taxi app, and ordered an express train. A message popped up on the phone, which was sent by cousin Zhou Min to the family group. Nian Nian, your brothers will arrive tomorrow. You go to the station to pick them up. It's their first time in Beijing. Don't get lost. Followed by a smiley face. I stared at that smiling face for 3 seconds. In her previous life, she had sent the same expression. Okay. I replied with one word. The next afternoon, Beijing South Railway Station. I wore a basic sweatshirt from Uniqlo, an old canvas bag, and sneakers. People poured out of the exit, and I saw them at a glance. Auntie Wang Guilon walked at the front dragging a huge woven bag. Cousin Zhou Yang was pushing a stroller, and his wife Lu Fang was holding the child and carrying 2 bags of fruit. There's another person I didn't expect. Cousin Zhou Min. She is here too. Nian Nian, my aunt waved to me from a distance, her voice so loud that I looked back halfway out of the station. Have you not grown taller in a year? Hey, look at what you are wearing. You look like a student. Are you not making any money? I didn't answer and reached for her woven bag. Auntie, let's go first. The car is waiting outside. Take a taxi? Zhou Min took my arm and looked me up and down. Nian Nian, you earn 4,500 a month. How expensive is it to take a taxi? How about taking the subway? I looked at her carefully made up face. In my previous life, it was this face that smiled in front of me and said, Nian Nian, don't blame me. It's because you are too deceptive. It's okay. I smiled. I just have a coupon. I called 2 express trains. The first car took Andy, Zhou Yang, and Lu Fang to take care of their children. The second car, Zhou Min and I. As soon as the car started, Zhou Min started. Nian Nian, which district do you live in? The Rising Sun. Chaoyang? Houses in Chaoyang are very expensive. How much do you want to rent? How much does it cost per month? The rent is 2,000, 3,000 for a small 1-bedroom apartment. Then you only have 2,000 and 2,000 left a month? She widened her eyes. Then how do you survive? The company takes care of lunch. She was silent for a moment, and something familiar to me flashed to her eyes. Not sympathy. It is confirmation. Confirmation that I am worse off than her. Oh, I'm just telling you. Why are you a girl coming to Beijing? She patted my hand. Go back to your hometown and take the exam as soon as possible. It would be nice to be safe and secure. I smiled. The car drove for 40 minutes and stopped below the apartment I rented in advance. Yes, rented. For today, I rented an old 1-bedroom apartment outside the 5th Ring Road. My real house is within the 3rd Ring Road, 140 square meters, bought in full. The elevator is broken. Go up to the 5th floor. The aunt frowned as soon as she entered the door. Is this where people live? 40 square meters, an old sofa, a folding table, and the cheapest curtains. Nian Nian, is this where you live in Beijing? Zhou Yong piled the suitcases at the door and looked around. Where's the bathroom? The one inside. Lu Fang walked around with the child in her arms, her face looking very ugly. There's not even a crib. Where will the child sleep? I bought a folding mattress. I will lay it in the living room in a while, and your family will sleep in the bedroom. What about Min Min and I? The aunt put the woven bag on the sofa. The sofa can be folded. Auntie, you and your cousin will sleep on the sofa. Sleeping on the sofa? Zhou Min's expression changed. The aunt didn't say anything. She glanced around and sighed. Okay, let's just stay here. Nian Nian, is there anything to eat in the refrigerator? I've been hungry all day on the train. I opened the refrigerator, and there were only 2 bottles of mineral water and a bag of frozen dumplings. This is also prepared in advance. I'm going to the supermarket downstairs to buy some groceries. Auntie, you guys have a rest first. Okay, buy more meat. Your brother and the others have been on the bus all day, so they need to make up for it. I went downstairs carrying the reusable bag. The moment I walked out of the unit door, I put my hand in my pocket and touched another mobile phone. Work cell phone. There are 3 unread messages on the screen. Lu Yan, are you sure you will attend the investor meeting next week? Financial Director Sister Zhang. Mr. Su, this month's dividend has arrived. Please check. HR. Mr. Su, the new batch of option incentive plans require your signature. I locked my phone and stuffed it back into my pocket. The supermarket is at the entrance of the alley. I bought ribs, vegetables, eggs, and a bag of rice. The phone rang during checkout. Cousin Zhou Min. Nian Nian, buy another box of beer. Your brother wants to drink it. By the way, are there any crayfish? Your sister-in-law wants to eat it. I held the phone and held back the first words that came to my mouth. Good. Carrying 4 large bags of stuff and climbing up to the 5th floor, my knees were shaking. The door was open. Zhou Min was sitting on the sofa, checking her phone. My aunt was looking through my cabinet. Zhou Yang was smoking on the balcony, and Lu Fang was changing the baby's diaper in the bedroom, directly on my sheets. Nian Nian is back. Cook quickly, your brother is starving. I put my stuff in the kitchen and put on my apron. This scene is exactly the same as in the previous life. The only difference is that in my previous life, I secretly wiped my tears in front of the stove. All my life, I count to 3 in front of the stove. Everything has just begun. The pork rib soup was served on the table, and Zhou Yang took a chopstick and tasted it. It's okay, just not enough salt. Lu Fang directly pulled the whole plate of braised pork ribs in front of him. I'm breastfeeding. I need to eat more good food. The aunt took a sip of the soup and put down the bowl. Nian Nian, let's discuss something after dinner. What's up? Your brother has to find a job when he comes to Beijing. Can you talk to him in the company? Help him find a job. I stopped picking up food for a moment. Auntie, I'm just a handyman. I can't arrange for people. The handymen also have leaders, right? Just talk to the leader and tell him that your brother can endure hardship and can do any job. Zhou Yang snorted. Sister, you only earn 4,500 yuan a month. How good can your company be? I paid more than 5,000 yuan in the factory before. Then why did you quit? This was asked by Zhou Min. The dinner table was quiet for a second. Zhou Yang glared at Zhou Min. The factory's performance was not good, so I took the initiative to leave. Lu Fang snorted and said nothing. She just lowered her head and picked up the rice. The aunt quickly smoothed things over. No matter what, I'm here. Nian Nian, ask your company first. Zhou Yang can do anything, moving goods, security, front desk, etc. Front desk. Zhou Yang clapped his chopsticks. Mom, you want me to be the front desk? Then what do you want to do? I want to do sales. He leaned on the back of his chair and crossed his legs. I'm a good talker, so my minimum sales guarantee is 8,000, right? I looked at his matter-of-fact face. In his previous life, he did join our company. Not as a salesperson, but as an administrative assistant. Then he said Su Nian is my sister, everywhere in the company, used my work ID to check the snack cabinet, and used my name to reimburse more than 20,000 yuan for personal expenses from suppliers. By the time I found out, I had already been punished once. I'll ask for you, but it may not work, I said. Why are you asking? You can just tell the leader no, the aunt urged. I put the dishes into the kitchen and turned on the faucet. Cold water rushed over his fingers. In my previous life, you devoured me for 3 years and ruined me for 5 years. If you want to eat it in this life, you can. But every bite, I can keep accounts. At 7 o'clock the next morning, I was woken up by the noise in the living room. I slept on a folding mattress on the balcony. Lu Fang was heating milk in the kitchen, and the child was crying. Zhou Yang was still fast asleep. The aunt's voice came from the bathroom. Nian Nian, why doesn't your water heater produce hot water? It will take 3 minutes. What a broken house. You have to wait for 3 minutes. I got up, folded the quilt, and walked into the living room. Zhou Min had already put on makeup and was sitting on the sofa having a video chat. Yes, I have arrived in Beijing. My sister lives here, but the house is too small. I will rent one myself later. She saw me and raised her chin at me. Nian Nian, are there any cheap houses near your company? I also want to find a job in Beijing. I thought you were only staying for a few days. How many days? She laughed. I resigned. How can I stay for a few days and then leave? My heart skipped a beat. Zhou Min didn't come with him in his previous life. She came 3 months later. This life is ahead of schedule. Something is different from the last life. I have to speed up. Nian Nian, the aunt came out of the bathroom wrapped in a bath towel. Hurry up and go to work. Don't be late and your salary will be deducted. By the way, leave me a key to your house, and we'll go out for a walk during the day. I put the spare key on the table. When I turned to go out, Lu Fang suddenly stopped me. Sister, your company is responsible for the food, right? Can you pack some and bring it back? It's too expensive to eat out. I held the door handle and didn't look back. Good. After leaving the old building, I stood on the street corner for a minute. Then he took out his work phone and dialed a number. Lu Yan, I need help. Explain. Help me check a person. Zhou Min, 31 years old, registered in Xuchang, Hunan Province. Can I check her consumption records and social platform updates in the past 6 months? There was silence on the other end of the phone for 2 seconds. Business or private matter? Private matter, but it could turn into a business matter. Give me 24 hours. After hanging up the phone, I called a car and went to the real company. Ingshire Technology, Wangjing Headquarters Building, 17th floor. The receptionist saw me and stood up immediately. Good morning, Mr. Su. The new intern next to me was stunned for a moment and looked at the Uniqlo sweatshirt I was wearing uncertainly. I walked into the private office, closed the door, and changed into another set of clothes hanging in the dressing room. Max Mara suit, Celine bag, Jimmy Choo shoes. This is my real daily life. Today's itinerary is on the table. 9 o'clock legal docking of Series C financing. 10:30 technical team weekly meeting. Pukul 14 investor lunteon. 1600 hours new product launch rehearsal. None of them have anything to do with a monthly salary of 4,500 yuan. The assistant knocked on the door and came in. Mr. Su, there is a man named Zhou Yang at the front desk. He said he is your brother and wants to come in to see you. The pen in my hand stopped. This is only the second day. In his previous life, he only came to the door on the 5th day. Tell him I'm not here. He didn't believe it and said he just saw your car. I didn't drive. Tell him there is no employee named Su Nian in the company. The assistant hesitated. He was very loud and the colleagues at the front desk were a little embarrassed. I closed my eyes for a moment. How did he know the company address? I didn't tell anyone. It's Zhou Min. It must be Zhou Min. In my previous life, she was the one who dug out all the details about me. Ask the security guard to ask him to leave. If he asks, just say that this floor is from another company and has nothing to do with Su Nian. The assistant went out. I stood in front of the window and saw the exit of the parking lot downstairs. 3 minutes later, Zhou Yang was politely sent out of the door by the security guard. He stood on the side of the road, took out his cell phone, and took a photo of the building. I knew this photo would show up in the family group. Nian Nian's office building. Beijing is really different. Auntie will follow behind her. Let me tell you, although Nian Nian earns little, she still works in a big company. A test from Zhou Min. Really? 10 minutes later, the family group popped up. Zhou Yang. Picture, this is a high-rise building. Where is your company located? I'll pick you up from get off work. Auntie, you look very impressive, Nian Nian. Work hard and strive for a salary increase. Zhou Min. This building is not cheap, isn't it? What's the name of your company? I'll search online. I didn't reply. Turn off your phone and walk into the conference room. The legal documents for Series C will be confirmed within a week. I didn't have time to play with them for too long. But don't close the net too quickly. In my previous life, I failed because I was too kind. In this life, I want to output in. They thought I was at my best as a bully. I stayed at the company for an extra hour after get off work. I didn't return to the rental house outside the 5th Ring Road until 6:30. When I opened the door, there was a smell of hot pot in the air. There is a copper pot in the living room, and the table is full of beef rolls, shrimp rolls, tripe, and enoki mushrooms. Zhou Yang and Lu Fong were cooking, Andy fried up a plate of peanuts, and Zhou Min was taking photos to post on WeChat moments. Nian Nian is back. Come and eat. We went to the supermarket to buy a lot in the afternoon. I glanced at the things on the table. At least 300 to 400 yuan. Who paid? I used your card first. Lu Fong didn't even raise her head. Andy said you have a bank card on the table, and she guessed the password. It's your birthday. I put down my bag calmly. I left that card on the table on purpose. There are $2,000 in it. I need to know how soon they will be spent. Nian Nian, don't be stingy. Auntie picked up a piece of fat beef with her chopsticks. You're already here. Why don't you eat something good? Even in your hometown, you can't bear to buy so much meat during the Chinese New Year. Auntie is right. I pulled up the chair and sat down. Besides, Zhou Yang said vaguely with shrimp stuffed in his mouth, didn't you say that your company is responsible for the food? You can't spend much money a day. What's wrong with supporting a few of us? I poured myself a glass of water. Did you go to the company to find me today? Go. The security won't let you in. He curled his lips and said, just tell the security and I'll go up directly next time. I'm just an ordinary employee. I can't speak. TCH, then ask your leader when he'll arrange a job for me? I took a sip of water. I'll ask tomorrow. Not tomorrow, just call tonight. The aunt urged. Auntie, the boss won't answer work calls after work. Then you send WeChat. I said nothing. Zhou Min has been watching me quietly. That kind of observing look, as if he was weighing something. Nian Nian, she suddenly said. What is the full name of your company? It's just a small company. You can't find it. Try it. In crew information. I made up a name, casually. She lowered her head and searched, and sure enough, she couldn't find it. He pursed his lips and didn't ask any further questions. But I know she won't give up. This is how she dug it out bit by bit in her previous life. I first looked for the company name, then checked the shareholder structure, and finally sent an email directly to investors to recommend myself, in my name. After eating, I washed the dishes. Lu Fong was coaxing her children in the bedroom, while a TV series was playing outside. Zhou Yang smoked and played games on the balcony. Auntie looked at me from the kitchen door. Nian Nian. You have 4,000 and 5,000 a month. Is that really enough? Save enough. She was silent for a while. It's not easy for your parents. They paid for you to go to college, and you ended up like this in Beijing. Why don't you go back? Auntie, I can't bear to leave Beijing. What are you reluctant to give up? Are you reluctant to go hungry and cold? She lowered her voice. Nian Nian, I want to tell you something from my heart. Your brother and his wife have no income for the time being. Their expenses these days dash. I know. It's good that you know. She patted me on the shoulder. It's all about relatives helping each other. I lower my head to wash the dishes. The rag ran across the edge of the porcelain plate. This is how I was rubbed down in my previous life. The phrase, "we are all relatives," cost me money for 6 years. The doorbell rang. I dried my hands and walked over to open the door. There was a man standing at the door. Property manager, holding a receipt in his hand. "Is this Miss Sunyan?" The neighbor next door complained about the noise. "Also, you owe a total of $820 in heating and property fees, and you haven't paid last month's payment." I just moved here. I took the receipt. After he left, Zhou Yong stuck his head out from the balcony. "You still need to pay property fees? You still need to pay property fees for this shabby house. It's like this all over the city." He drew back with a scoff. I locked the door and walked to the corner of the balcony. I took out my work phone and saw a new message. "Lu Yan, I found it. Your showman just resigned from a P2P company 3 months ago. She has 2 overdue online loans in her name, totaling $140,000. She didn't come to Beijing to find a job. She came to Beijing to avoid debts." I stared at the screen. I didn't know this in my previous life. I only know that she later became like a fish in my company, used my resources to please investors, and finally teamed up with my ex-boyfriend to do something. My option transfer agreement was secretly replaced. In this life, I know her trump card in advance. But it's not enough. I need to know more. I replied, "Keep checking. Who is the person she has contacted most recently?" Turn off the screen and return to the living room. Zhouman was sitting cross-legged on the sofa, flipping through the bank card I left on the table. "Yan Yan, can this card be linked to Alipay? I want to order takeaway for you as a reward. The balance is running low." "It's okay. Tie it up first and then talk." I walked over and took the card out of her hand. "I'll withdraw some money again tomorrow. Don't tie it up yet." She stared at my hand for a second, then laughed. "Okay, it's up to you." That smile is just right. Exactly the same as all his life. On the 3rd day, I did something. I opened a virtual administrative assistant position in the company. It only exists in my own account and does not go through the formal HR system. In name, Zhou Yong was arranged to come in. In fact, he was asked to sit in the shared workstation area on the 1st floor and do some chores that did not involve the core business. I brought him here myself. Right here. I pointed to a workstation in the corner. Zhou Yong looked around and saw that the other workstations were filled with outsourced personnel. "Isn't this too biased? Can't you find a seat for me on your floor?" "My floor is the technical department and outsiders can't enter. This is the best I can find." Okay. He threw his backpack on the table. "What should I do?" "Help everyone organize express delivery, make forms, and guide visitors. 200 yuan a day, paid daily." 200? His expression changed. "Sister, I used to make 300 a day in the factory. It's like this during the probation period in Beijing." He sat down reluctantly. I handed him an access card. It can only be used on the 1st floor and underground parking lot. The lunch canteen is on the 3rd floor. Just swipe your work badge. That's not bad. I turned around and walked into the elevator. When I got to the 17th floor, I told my assistant, "The new temporary worker on the 1st floor keeps an eye on his every move, which floors he goes to and who he talks to. Write them all down and report them to me." The assistant nodded. "This is not a precaution, it is a stop-loss." I know very well what Zhou Yong did in his previous life. At noon on the 3rd day, I received a call from Lu Fang. "Sister, your brother said that the braised pork in the company cafeteria is very delicious. Can you also apply for a meal card for me? I will take the baby there to eat. The company cafeteria is not open to the public. Then you pack it up and make a few more copies." I said yes. At noon, I went to the canteen to get an extra lunchbox and packed braised pork, broccoli, and rice. Zhou Yong is not at his workstation. "Where has he gone?" I asked the outsourcing colleague next to me. "Going upstairs. Said he was looking for you. He followed someone to swipe his card and enter the elevator." My temples jumped twice. "Take the elevator to the 17th floor." "Really?" Zhou Yong stood outside the glass partition of the technical department, stretching his neck to look inside. The little girl at the front desk next to me looked embarrassed. "Sir, this floor requires exclusive access control." "What's her name, sir?" "My sister works there, Sunyan, do you know?" Zhou Yong patted the table at the front desk and said, "Let me in." I walked over quickly. "Zhou Yong." He looked back at me with a natural smile on his face. "Sister, I'm here to see you. Your workstation is too shabby. This floor is so nice, wide and bright. Can you help me move to this floor? This level is technology research and development, and you can't do it." "What's so difficult about research and development? I've done computer repair before, Dash." "Let's go. I'll take you to the cafeteria for dinner." I grabbed his arm and took him into the elevator without any explanation. The little girl at the front desk looked at our backs and looked obviously relieved. In the cafeteria, Zhou Yong was eating his rice and still complaining. "Your company is too stingy. You won't even let me go up to the 17th floor. I don't steal anything." "Company rules." "Why are you breaking the rules?" He took a sip of Coke and burped. "By the way, sister, who is the biggest leader in your company? Let me get to know you, just in case you can take care of me in the future." "The CEO is not in Beijing." "Where's the vice president?" I picked up a chopstick and didn't answer. The vice president he was talking about was me. He didn't need to know the answer for the time being. After eating, I packed the extra lunch boxes and asked him to take them back after get-off work. At 2:30 in the afternoon, the assistant sent a message. "Mr. Su, Zhou Yong didn't work at his desk on the 1st floor in the afternoon and went to the marketing department on the 3rd floor. He chatted with an intern named Xiao Sun for an hour and asked a lot about the company, including how many floors the company has, what is the boss's last name, and his annual income." I looked at the screen and took a deep breath. No. I put down my phone, open the drawer, and take out a document. Investor list of Inkshire Technologies Series C financing, confidentiality level. Turn to the 3rd page, a name. Zhao Donghui. In my previous life, it was this person who, through Zhouman's help, bypassed me and directly signed a private agreement with my ex-boyfriend to sell my options at a very low price. I never figured out how Zhou Min contacted him. My phone vibrated again. Lu Yan, the three numbers Zhou Min has contacted most frequently recently. One is your aunt, the other is a man named Li Chao, probably her ex-boyfriend, and the third is a Beijing mobile phone number. The third number? Checked. The registrant's name is Xiao Donghui. I put down my phone, stared at the ceiling for a full 10 seconds. The truth that I didn't figure out until my death in my previous life. Zhou Min and the investor had known each other for a long time. It was not something she came across by chance in my company. It was she who had been in contact with Xiao Donghui for a long time and then found an excuse to come to Beijing to join me, just to use my identity to get close to the core of Ingshi. I'm a springboard. I was a springboard from beginning to end. In my previous life, I was still making pork rib soup for them in front of the stove. I stood up and walked to the window. Outside the window is the evening in Beijing, and the neon signs are starting to light up. Good. Know the trump card. The problem now is, we can't alert the enemy. I need Zhou Min to continue to think that I know nothing. I need her to take the wrong path and walk on the path I designed. When I returned to the rental house in the evening, I could smell the smell of instant noodles as soon as I entered the door. I didn't cook it myself, but took out 3 portions of hot and sour noodles, 2 portions of spicy hot pot, and 1 portion of milk tea. Nian Nian, look at your card. The balance is only over 400. The aunt held up the consumption reminder on her mobile phone. When will your salary be paid next month? Number 25. There's still half a month left, and the money isn't enough. Zhou Min came out of the bedroom and changed into a set of pajamas, my pajamas. She glanced at the packed lunchbox I left at the door. Nian Nian, is the food in your company delicious? Generally. Take me to try it some other time. The company is not open to the public. I'm your sister. She tilted her head and smiled. I'm not an outsider. There was something calculating in that smile. I smiled back. Another day. At 11 o'clock in the evening, everyone went to bed. I huddled on the folding bed on the balcony, wrapped in a thin quilt. Work phone vibrates silently. Lu Yan, there's something you need to know. Xiao Donghui is coming to Beijing next week to participate in a closed-door communication meeting for Series C financing. You are on the list. 我知道. Your relative, Zhou Min, has a not simple relationship with Xiao Donghui. I suggest you cut off her information source directly. I thought about it and typed 3 lines. No, let her have access. But I will control all the information she can get. 你要做什么? Fishing. After sending this message, I turned over. The balcony window was not closed tightly, and the wind seeped in. I hugged the quilt tightly. In my previous life, I completely lost everything in this cold wind. In this life, the wind will only go in the direction I want it to blow. Weekend. My aunt said she would take the whole family to visit Beijing. Do you want to go to the Forbidden City? Are the tickets expensive? 60. It's too expensive. Then go to Tiananmen and see it. It's free. I didn't go. Talk about working overtime. In fact, I went back to my house in San Juan and sorted out everything that happened this week in the study. There are 3 columns written on the whiteboard. Column 1, Zhou Yang, behavior record. I went to the 17th floor 3 times in 3 days and was stopped twice. I asked my outsourcing colleagues at least 10 questions about the company structure. I took 2 stacks of company brochures on the first floor and said, take them back and take a look. Second column, Zhou Min, behavior record. I used my bank card twice to make purchases, totaling 620. Looking through my work bag, I deliberately put a fake business card in the side pocket. The name on the card was Sun Yan, administrative assistant of Ingpu Information. She has posted at least 3 posts on moments about life in Beijing, all located within the 3rd ring road. She has never located her rental house outside the 5th ring road. The 3rd column, Xiao Donghui, to be confirmed. Intersecting memories from a previous life. After the C round, he took the initiative to talk to me about a share exchange plan, saying that he could optimize my tax structure. I didn't agree at the time, but Zhou Min later got the original document of the plan. How did she get it? I drew a line on the whiteboard. Zhou Min Xiao Donghui option transfer loophole. This line must be cut before the outbreak occurs. But the purpose of truncation is not preservation. It's a counterattack. My phone rang. Mr. Su, the investor closed-door meeting next Wednesday will be held in the banquet hall on the 3rd floor of Wangjing Jiarwei Hotel. Currently, 7 investor representatives are confirmed to be present, among whom Xiao Donghui has responded to attend. Good. In addition, the technical team said that the new product demo is still short of the final round of testing. Have them turn it in on Monday. One more thing. The assistant paused. Although your brother Zhou Yang is off today, he just called the company's front desk and asked which floor your office is on. According to your arrangement, the front desk said that the company does not have a senior executive named Sun Yan. How did he react? Let me tell you something. My sister is just too honest. She is even embarrassed to say where she is. I hung up the phone. I took a photo of the content on the whiteboard and stored it in an encrypted photo album. Wipe it clean. Then I put on a Uniqlo sweater and took a taxi back to the rental house outside the 5th ring road. When I opened the door, my aunt was video chatting with my 3rd aunt from home in the living room. Yes, Beijing is big. We went to Tiananmen today, and it was packed with people. Nian Nian works here, and the income is not much but stable. She saw me and turned her phone towards me. Nian Nian, tell your 3rd aunt. The face of the 3rd aunt on the other side of the screen is very close. Nian Nian, I heard that you are doing well in Beijing. Your 3rd uncle's cousin also wants to come to Beijing dash. 3rd aunt, I can't live in this house anymore. Just squeeze in, Xiaolei doesn't take up space alone. 3rd aunt, my signal is not good, so hang up first. I returned the phone to my aunt. The aunt's face darkened. Nian Nian, your 3rd aunt is your elder after all. I know, but the house is really uninhabitable. This time I did nod and say, come on like I did in my previous life. My 3rd aunt's cousin came here in a previous life and stayed there for 3 months. He stole my laptop and sold it for 1,000 yuan. The aunt snorted and said no more. But during dinner in the evening, she opened fire on me while holding the bowl. Nian Nian, let me tell you something. Your brother and his wife came to Beijing and spent more than 2,000 yuan on travel expenses. You pay for this. They paid for the tickets themselves. Isn't that because they came to seek refuge with you? Since you asked them to come, of course you have to pay for the travel expenses. Auntie, I didn't ask them to come. The dinner table was quiet. Zhou Yong raised his head and looked at me. Lu Fang was stunned while holding her child. Zhou Min put down his chopsticks and narrowed his eyes slightly. What do you mean you didn't scream? Auntie slapped her chopsticks on the table. I told your mother in advance. Your mother agreed. My mother didn't agree. She asked me to find a way. Then what do you mean by let them come? This sentence was asked by Zhou Min. Everyone looked at me. I held the bowl and slowly chewed a mouthful of rice. I mean, it's okay to come, but there are some things that need to be explained clearly. What are you going to say? First, this house can only be lived in for 1 month. After 1 month, my cousin and sister-in-law will need to rent a house by themselves. You dash, Auntie's face turned red. Second, my monthly salary is only this much. I can help within my ability, but I can't handle anything beyond that. Third. Okay, Zhou Yong stood up suddenly. The chair legs scraped against the floor with a screeching sound. Su Nian, what do you mean? I quit my job, spent my travel expenses, and came all the way with my wife and children. You negotiate terms with me? It's not about negotiating conditions, it's about making it clear. What's there to talk about? Your monthly salary is not enough for me to put my teeth into. I didn't come to Beijing to live on your 4,000 and 5,000. I want to do big things. His saliva sprayed onto the dishes. Lu Fang began to wipe her tears beside her. I just said you shouldn't come. What's so good about Beijing? You live in such a shabby place, and your sister still dislikes us. The child was frightened and cried. There was a lot of chatter in the room. Only Zhou Min didn't move. She leaned back on the chair, slowly twirled the chopsticks with her fingers, and looked at me. That look. Not an accident. It's an assessment. She was assessing whether I was really poor or just pretending to be poor. If it is confirmed that I am really poor, she will change her strategy. If you suspect that I am pretending to be poor, she will dig deeper. I didn't avoid her gaze. Cousin, what about you? How long do you plan to stay in Beijing? She smiled. It depends. If you can find the right job, stay there for a long time. What kind of job? I used to work in marketing. I can do it in internet companies and technology companies. She paused. Does your company have such a position? Let me ask. Okay, sorry to trouble my sister. She picked up her chopsticks and continued eating as if the conflict just now had nothing to do with her. At 10:30, I was wrapped in a quilt on the balcony and checking my work phone. Lu Yan sent a document. Title, Analysis of Xiao Donghui's investment behavior in the past 3 years. I turned page after page. On page 7, a record caught my attention. 2 years ago, Xiao Donghui's fund invested in a small social e-commerce project. One of the co-founders of that project, Zhou Min. The project folded after 6 months. Amount of loss, 1.4 million. Among them, 700,000 was Xiao Donghui's money. My hand holding the phone tightened. No wonder. No wonder Zhou Min owes 140,000 online loans. No wonder she is connected with Xiao Donghui. There is no ordinary acquaintance between them. They have accounts. In my previous life, Zhou Min used me to get close to Yingshi, not to help himself, but to repay Xiao Donghui's debt. She used my options to pay for the money she owed Xiao Donghui. After Xiao Donghui got my options, he sold them all to cash out before Yingshi went public, making nearly 50 million. Both of them were very satisfied with this deal. I am the only one who died. I saved the files into an encrypted folder. Turn off the screen. It was quiet on the balcony. The child's low sobbing and Lu Fang's voice coaxing the child came from the bedroom next door. Auntie is snoring in the living room. Zhou Min's position, the other end of the sofa, was so quiet that it didn't look like he was asleep. I listened for a while. Then I heard a very light button sound. She didn't sleep. She is sending a message. At 9 o'clock on Monday morning, I sat in the office and carefully revised the plan for the closed-door meeting. A new link was inserted, Investors' Free Communication Time, which was arranged before the formal signing ceremony. If Zhou Min wants to manipulate Xiao Donghui, she needs information. And the source of the information must be in my hands. I called my assistant. Prepare a fake investor address book for me, with only names and email addresses, and replace all the email addresses with the company's exclusive hidden mailboxes. If someone uses these mailboxes to send a letter, I can see the content immediately. I understand, Mr. Su. Also prepare a fictitious option change plan document, stamp it with the watermark of internal discussion paper. Put it in the second drawer of my desk, unlocked. The assistant hesitated for a second. Do you want to? I wanted to see who would open that drawer. She nodded and went out. At 10:30, I sent Zhou Yang a WeChat message. The company has clients visiting us at noon today. Please maintain order on the first floor and don't run around. I will take you to the canteen at noon. 他秒回, 好理解. Followed by 3 thumbs up. In the lunch canteen, Zhou Yang and I sat face to face. Zhou Yang, what exactly do you want to do in Beijing? He was mumbling with chicken legs stuffed in his mouth. Doing business. What business? I'm still thinking. He took a bite. You see, there are so many rich people in Beijing. How can they just throw away anything and not make any money? Do you have the capital? He glanced at me. That look was all too familiar to me. The words he opened his mouth to say in his previous life were, Sister, please lend me 100,000 first, and I'll give you half of it when I make it. Really? Sister, can you lend me first? No. You haven't heard me out yet. It doesn't matter how much it is. I have 4,500 yuan a month, and I still have to pay rent, water, and electricity. He put down the drumstick, his face already ugly. Su Nian, you and your father have the same virtues. They are stingy. If my mother hadn't helped your family back then, dash. Are you talking about the 20,000 yuan that aunt lent to my dad? He was stunned for a moment. My dad paid back the 20,000 yuan 3 years ago, which is 32,000 yuan with interest. I have the transfer records. The corner of his mouth twitched, and he said no more. He lowered his head and continued to eat the chicken legs. But something in the eyes has changed. Not annoyed. It's about holding a grudge. He had the same expression in his previous life, and then stood by Zhou Min when I needed help the most. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my assistant sent me an urgent message. Mr. Su, the security guard on the first floor reported that a female visitor came at noon and said she was your friend. She called herself Zhou Min. The security guard did not let her go in accordance with the regulations, but she took many photos at the entrance of the building, including the building's corporate nameplate. The nameplate clearly states Ancient Technology. It's not the Ingpu information I made up. She already knew I lied. What will she do next? I hardly have to guess. She will check the industrial and commercial registration of Ancient Technology. And then she'll see. Shareholder, Sun Yan 17% shareholding. Co-founders, Sun Yan/Lu Yan/Wang Jiamin. From that moment on, in her eyes, I was no longer the silly sister with a monthly salary of 4,500. I am a piece of fat. Sure enough, when she returned to the rental house that night, Zhou Min's attitude changed subtly. Not a 360, she's much smarter than that. The changes are only in the details. She took the initiative to wash the dishes. Nian Nian, you've been working all day, please rest. She changed the TV channel that her aunt was rushing to watch to a variety show that I mentioned casually before. Nian Nian, didn't you say you like watching this? She poured me a glass of hot water, which was just right. It's bad for your stomach if you keep drinking cold water. The aunt saw it, and her face was filled with relief. Look, Min loves you the most. I took the water glass. This warm water offensive lasted for 2 months in my previous life until I completely let down my guard and introduced her to the company's core customers. In this life, I took a sip of water. Thank you, cousin. Then wait for her next step. Don't have to wait too long. At 11 o'clock in the evening, everyone went to bed. I didn't sleep. On the folding bed on the balcony, I closed my eyes and heard very light footsteps in the living room. The refrigerator door opens and closes, masking the sound. Then there was the sound of my backpack being unzipped. Very light, very careful, as if trained. She was looking through my bag. In her previous life, she found a real business card and followed the clues. In this life, she will find that fake business card. Ingpu Information Administrative Assistant Sun Yan. But she already knew about Inkster Technology. The collision of 2 contradictory information will only make her more certain. I'm deliberately hiding it. She will dig even crazier. And every piece she dug was placed by me. The footsteps returned softly. The sofa springs made a slight noise. I opened my eyes in the dark. Keep acting. Wednesday. Closed-door financing communication meeting. The 3rd floor banquet hall of Jiarwei Hotel. I wore a custom-made suit with my hair tied back. When I walked into the venue, 7 investors looked at me at the same time. Hello everyone, I am Sun Yan, co-founder of Inkster Technology. I will host today's financing communication meeting. Zhao Donghui is sitting in the 3rd row. He is in his 40s, with thinning hair and a Patek Philippe on his wrist. When he looked at me, there was something in his eyes that was very familiar to me. The hunter looks at the prey. This is how he looked at me in his previous life. The meeting lasted 2 hours. During the break, Zhao Donghui came over with a coffee cup. Mr. Su is young and promising. I have never seen such a young founder in the projects I have invested in before. Mr. Zhao is so complimentary. I heard that Inkster's technical barriers are very deep. Yes, the core AI models and databases are independently developed. Okay. He nodded, his smile not reaching his eyes. To what extent is the option pool allocated now? I heard there are still some changes dash. It's stable now, I said calmly. Really? But after the C round comes in, will the dilution ratio of the original shareholders be very large? If there is room for optimization dash. My legal team is handling this part. If Mr. Zhao is interested, he can obtain the materials through formal channels. He raised his coffee cup and touched mine. Certainly. When I returned to my seat, I sent a message to Lu Yan. Zhao Donghui is testing the option structure. His actions will speed up. Lu Yan replied, is your bait ready? It's already in the 2nd drawer. 接下来呢? When I returned to the rental house that night, it was already 9:30. As soon as the door opened, everyone looked at me. The atmosphere is not right. The aunt was sitting on the sofa, her face stretched longer than a horse. Zhou Yong stood at the door of the balcony with a cigarette in his mouth. Lu Feng held the child in her arms, with traces of crying on her face. Zhou Min leaned against the wall, holding her mobile phone in her hand with the screen facing down. What's wrong? I put down my bag. The aunt spoke. Nian Nian, tell us the truth. Say what? What on earth do you do? It was quiet for 3 seconds. I looked at Zhou Min. There is a very shallow arc at the corner of her mouth. This is her 2nd step. I inadvertently revealed the information to my aunt and then used her mouth to force me to show off my cards. She did the same thing in her previous life. I am an ordinary office worker with a monthly salary of 4,500. Stop pretending. Zhou Yong suddenly came over and pointed the phone screen in front of me. It's a screenshot of Tai Nianke. Inkster Technology, Beijing, Company Limited. Shareholder information, Sun Yan holds 17% of the shares. Registered capital, 50 million. Latest financing, Series C, valued at 3.2 billion. If you're a little assistant, how can you be a shareholder of the company? You hold 17% of the shares. How much is that? I looked down at that screen. In a previous life, I discovered this information only after I was cornered. In this life, it has been almost 4 months. But it doesn't matter. Because this time is different. This time, the information checked by the Sky Eye. It's true. And they're about to use this true information to enter the fake game I set up. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later, that's all we know. Nyen yen. Zhoumin spoke softly, with a tone as gentle as coaxing a child. Are you afraid that we will come to beat the autumn wind, so you deliberately say that you earn less? Don't worry, we are not that kind of people. But you can't lie to us. We're a family. Family. When she said these 3 words in her previous life, she was holding an option transfer agreement signed by me. I was silent for 5 seconds. Then deep. No. I paused and looked up. Okay, I'll tell the truth. Everyone's ears perked up. It is true that I co-founded Inkshare Technology. It is true that I hold 17% of the shares. But that equity is not valuable. The company is still burning money, and the C round of financing has not finally landed. My annual income plus salary and bonus is about more than 300,000. It is not as much as everyone thinks. The number I'm talking about is 1/30th of real annual income. But for them, it was shocking enough. More than 300,000? The aunt jumped up from the sofa. Your annual salary is more than 300,000 yuan. Tell us 4,500 yuan? Auntie, 4,000 and 5,000 is the basic salary. Stop talking about this. Zhou Yong slammed his phone on the coffee table. More than 300,000 a year? Do you live in this shabby place? Have you hidden all the money? Most of my money is invested in the company. What are you investing in? The company doesn't belong to you alone. You won't spend your own money, right? Lu Fong muttered next to her. With an annual salary of more than 300,000 yuan, we are allowed to sleep on the sofa here, dash. I looked at their exploding faces one by one. Then he looked at Zhou Min. She said nothing, but her fingers tapped twice on the phone case. She didn't believe it. She didn't believe it was only more than 300,000. 17% of shares, valuation of 3.2 billion. 17% is more than 500 million. Even if it is not listed, even if there is dilution, even if there is a lockup period. This number has been planted in her heart. This is exactly what I want. Let her think that I have 500 million chips in my hand, and then she will use her biggest trump card. And her biggest trump card. It's Xiao Donghui. Okay. The aunt took a breath and sat back on the sofa. Yin Yin, your annual salary is 300,000 or 500,000, but it's more than you said. As for your brother Dash. What's up? Your brother wants to start a business. I looked at Zhou Yang. He was leaning against the wall, legs crossed, with that you owe me look that I'm all too familiar with. I took a look at the direction of your company. AI, right? I have an idea to build an AI live streaming platform. You provide the technology, and I provide the connections. What connections do you have? I have 3,000 fans on Kuaishou. I almost laughed. Zhou Yang, the threshold of AI research and development cannot be achieved by 1 or 2 people. I have no money or ability to help you start a business. Don't you have equity? Take equity mortgage loan. Equity during the lock-in period cannot be pledged. Then you look for investors. You don't deal with investors every day, dash. No. You. Okay. The aunt ended again. Nyen, don't refuse in a hurry. Go back and discuss it with the people in your company. After all, your brother has gone to college, and it's not like he doesn't know anything, dash. Auntie. I put down the water glass. I said, I will help him within my ability, but I won't be able to control anything beyond my ability. I can help him find a job. I don't have the money to invest in him to start a business. Zhou Yong stared at me, his lips trembling. Okay, Su Nyen, you can do it. He slammed the door and entered the bedroom. Lu Fong chased in, and then there was a low quarrel and the cry of a child. The aunt pointed at me, her fingers trembling. You are such a white-eyed wolf. If your parents hadn't relied on your aunt back then, dash. 32,000, I have the transfer records. Auntie, it's better for us to explain the matter clearly than anything else. The aunt opened her mouth but said nothing. She pulled the quilt over her head and lay down. Zhou Min and I were the only ones left in the living room. She came over and leaned against the doorframe. Nyen, you have changed. What? You were so good when you were little. You listened to everything my aunt said. I looked at her. People change. Yes, she smiled. But don't worry, I won't ask you for money. I just want to find a job in Beijing and not cause you any trouble. Didn't you do P2P before? Her expression cracked at that moment. It's very thin and very fast. If I hadn't been waiting for this reaction, I wouldn't have noticed it at all. How do you know? You mentioned it on WeChat before. Her eyes changed for a second. Then that warm smile returned. Yes, I did it for a while. The company failed and collapsed. Now, I want to switch to marketing. Okay, I'll help you keep an eye on it. Thank you, Nyen. She went back to the sofa and lay down, pulling up the quilt. I stood there and looked at her for 3 seconds. P2P, collapse, 140,000 online loans. Zhao Donghui's 700,000. You need lots and lots of money. And you think I have. Bring it on. The first thing I did when I arrived at the company the next morning was put the fake option change document in the second drawer. Then the drawer lock was replaced with a special one. After being opened, the lock core will leave a scratch visible to the naked eye. Then I asked my assistant to arrange something. At 3 o'clock this Friday afternoon, an internal department communication meeting will be arranged. Use the larger conference room. Inform all core members to be present. Do outsiders need to be notified? No need, but let the front desk on the first floor know about it in a normal way, such as posting a meeting notice on the bulletin board. The assistant understood. Zhou Yang is on the first floor and can see the bulletin board. He would take photos and send them to Zhou Min. Zhou Min will know that I will not be in the office at 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon. If she wanted to go through my drawers, that was the best time window. Of course, I didn't plan for her to come in person. She already knew that the company did not allow outsiders to go to the 17th floor. She needs an insider. And Zhou Yang is the best candidate. Thursday night in a rental house. After eating, Zhou Min suddenly said something. Nian Nian, how is your brother doing in the company? Good. Does he think there is no future on the first floor? He did complain. Zhou Min glanced at Zhou Yang, who was playing games in the living room, and lowered his voice. Nian Nian, I have an idea. You see, your brother has no motivation now, so why not let him study more in the company? Can you get him a temporary pass so that he can visit various departments when he is free? The company's security system does not allow it. It's not like we're asking him to steal things. We're just trying to learn from him. I pretended to hesitate. Then he said, I will lend him my access card for 1 day. Just 1 day. But you must not let others know. Zhou Min's eyes lit up. Okay, I'll tell him to keep a low profile. I have a meeting on Friday afternoon, and I won't be in the office from about 3 to 5. That's the safest time. She nodded and didn't ask any further questions. But I saw that flash in her eyes. In her previous life, it took her 3 months to get to this point. In this life, 10 days. Friday at 2:55 p.m. I left my access card at the front desk on the first floor. My brother will pick it up later. Then he took the elevator to the 17th floor and went directly to the monitoring room without entering the conference room. The security chief was waiting there. Mr. Su, all the cameras on the 17th floor have been adjusted to the highest resolution. I sat down and stared at the monitor screen. 3:03. The elevator door opens. I was able to run Sheo. He held my access card in his hand, looked around, and walked towards the technical department pretending to be natural. But he did not join the technical department. He walked around the hallway and found my private office. The nameplate on the door, Vice President Su Nian. He stood in front of the nameplate and looked at it for 5 seconds. Then he turned around and took a photo. Sent out. He opened the door and walked in. Go straight to your desk. Bend down and open the second drawer. I could see it clearly on the surveillance screen. He took out the document and took pictures of each page with his mobile phone. Then put it back and closed the drawer. The whole process takes less than 3 minutes. The security supervisor next to me looked at me. Mr. Su, do you want to stop him? No. Let him go. I watched Zhou Yang take the elevator downstairs and walk to the door to call Zhou Min. Then turn on your phone. There were 3 key pieces of data on that fake document. First, Su Nian plans to transfer 5% options to newly introduced strategic investors at an internal price, valuation basis of 1.2 billion. Second, transfer window period before the 15th of next month. Third, Su Nian has reached a preliminary agreement with Xiao Donghui on this matter. This is false, but I put Xiao Donghui's name on purpose. What will Zhou Min do when he sees this document? She will contact Xiao Donghui. Tell him that Su Nian is selling options. And if Xiao Donghui wants this 5%, calculated at a valuation of 1.2 billion, that would be 60 million. But if he knew my real situation, that I was in dire need of money, or could be manipulated, he would want to get it at a lower price. Well below 60 million. For example, let Zhou Min convince me to friendly transfer at a very low price. They even made me sign an agreement with unfavorable conditions without my knowledge. This is what he did in his previous life. The difference now is, that document is fake. The valuation is fake. The intention with Xiao Donghui is fake. The only real thing is one thing. The surveillance video showed Zhou Yang going through my drawers. Returned to the rental house at 6:30. Zhou Yang's attitude suddenly improved a lot. Sister, I did a lot of work in the company in the afternoon. I sorted 2 large boxes for express delivery. The security guards praised me. Thanks for your hard work. Zhou Min was cooking in the kitchen. She took the initiative to cook again. Nian Nian, I stewed chicken soup. You can try it. The aunt also smiled and didn't mention money again. The whole house is filled with warmth. It's so fake that it gives you goosebumps. I would have been moved in my previous life. In this life, I drank a bowl of chicken soup and praised it as delicious. Then go back to the balcony and lie down. The work phone lights up. Lu Yan, I received an email in the hidden mailbox. The sender's IP was traced back to Zhou Min's mobile phone. She sent him a long letter using Xiao Donghui's email address in the fake address book on your desk. Neidong. He sent a screenshot of the email. Mr. Zhao, I am Zhou Min from the previous XX project. I have important information to share with you recently. My cousin Su Nian is the co-founder of Inkshire Technology and holds 17% of the shares. She is currently considering selling 5% of the options at the internal price with a valuation benchmark of 1.2 billion. I understand that she is hesitant about this transaction. If there is a suitable promotion method, there may be more room for price. If interested, we can discuss in detail. Zhou Min. After I finished reading, I put my phone next to my pillow. In her previous life, she secretly planned for 3 months before taking this step. 10 days in this life is enough. Greed is always faster than trust. The next step is to wait for Xiao Donghui's response. If he takes the bait, the next day, Lu Yan forwarded Xiao Donghui's reply. It was not sent to a hidden email address. Xiao Donghui used his real email address to reply to the fake email address sent by Zhou Min. But because the receiving system of the fake mailbox was under my control, both emails arrived in my hands. Xiao Donghui's reply was short. Ms. Zhou, interested in, discuss the specific situation by phone. The email you're using is not safe. Please change it. Xiao Donghui. He reminded Zhou Min to change his email address. This shows that he was a veteran in his previous life, but it also shows that he is interested. Now, on to the next stage. I need to do 2 things. The first thing, let Zhou Min think that her plan is progressing smoothly. The second thing, make all preparations at the legal level. I made an appointment with the company's legal director, Lawyer Sun. Lawyer Sun, help me handle a personal matter. You said, if someone tries to obtain my option transfer documents by forging my signature or using coercion or fraud, I need a complete legal counterattack plan, including but not limited to criminal charges, civil claims, and business injunctions. Lawyer Sun pushed up his glasses. Mr. Su, what happened? It hasn't happened yet, but it will happen soon. He looked at me and nodded. Give me a week. You have 3 days. Meanwhile, I did something else. Called my mom. Mom, have you considered coming to Beijing? What to do? Come and see me. Help me with some things. What's the matter? You can't live in that rental house anymore. I don't live in that one. I have another house. It's on the 3rd ring road. There was silence on the other end of the phone for 3 seconds. Su Nian, what did you hide from Mom? You'll know when you get here. My mom bought the ticket that night. Arrive the day after tomorrow. The timeline tightened. I need to get all the chess pieces in place before Zhou Min contacts Xiao Donghui. The first piece, the fake document, has been dropped. The second